In class, we did a little activity and we discovered a new form. It's called point slope form. It's a little weird. The piece of information it gives us a slope and it gives us a point on the line. We saw there can be a lot of different equations for the same line using point slope form. But this is an important form because it's going to show up when we get into maths in high school. It's going to show up in other types of functions besides just lines, and that's why we need to be introduced to it now, okay? And what we're going to do today is we are going to write and graph linear equations in point slope form. This has this name for a reason, okay? This name comes because from this equation we can find a point on the line, we can find the slope of the line, okay? Now let's review. Point slope form. If we have a slope of m and a point of x1, y1, point slope form says that y minus y1 equals m, or the slope, times the quantity x minus x1. Remember, this came from the slope formula. If I put this over this, dividing both sides by this x minus 1, I get the slope formula. That's where this formula comes from, okay? Just as review, this is what we did in class. Write an equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the point -3, 1, and has a slope of 3. So they've given me m is 3. They've given me the point -3, 1. I'm going to let -3 be x1, 1 be y1. We're going to substitute into y minus y1 equals the slope times the quantity x minus x1. So we're going to say y minus y1 is 1 equals the slope 3 times x minus a -3. Okay, and we end up with y minus 1 equals 3 times x minus a -3 becomes x plus 3. What I want you to start seeing, these signs here are the opposite of what they are up here. This was a positive 1, this is minus 1. This was a -3, this is plus 3. Start noticing that. Now I'm going to show you this step for a while, but some of you will get comfortable and know, hey, I can skip that. All right? Now, let's look at graphing these linear equations. Okay, first one we're going to graph. The equation is y plus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 3. Keep in mind, point slope form is y minus y1 equals the slope times the quantity x minus x1. So we want to get these subtraction signs here, okay? You won't always have to do that as you get comfortable with it, but that's what we're trying to do, okay? So let's see if we need to rewrite this. I see y plus 2. Well, y plus 2 is the same thing as y minus a -2, right? That makes my minus sign match. Minus, minus, okay? Equals 2/3 times x minus 3. That's already minus, so I don't have to do anything with that. But I changed it to get these two subtraction signs to get it to match up here so I can see my x1, y1, okay? Now, this means my slope is 2/3. That's the easy one to find, right? That's the fraction in front of the parentheses. That's our slope. And then my point, this is going to be x1, and this is going to be y1. So my point is 3, -2. 3, -2. Now what I want you to start seeing, look, it started out as minus 3, my x value was 3. It started out at plus 2, my x value is -2. Start seeing that connection. As long as you need to rewrite it like this, that's okay, but you can skip from here to here if you see that connection. Now, here's what you're going to do. Step 1 is plot the point. So we're going to plot the point 3, -2. So I'm going to go over 3, down 2. There's my starting point. I don't have to start on the y-intercept anymore with point slope form. Then I'm going to use rise over run, and I'm going to use my slope from that point to find more points. So I'm going to put my pencil on that point, 3, -2. I'm going to go up 2, over 3, put another point. I think I can do it again. I'm going to go up 2, over 3, put another point. I've got 3 points. I'm going to draw a line through those points, best I can with a stylus and an iPad, and I'm going to write my equation. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 3. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. Graph the equation y minus 1 equals the opposite, or minus, the quantity x minus 2. Now, notice this already has 2 minuses, so I don't have anything to fix. So this is going to be my y1, and this is going to be my x1. What's my slope here? Any guesses? The slope is -1, because this minus sign in front of here is a -1, right? What's my point? My point is 2, 1. Notice it looks the opposite of what you see. It was -2 and -1. We wrote a +2 and a +1. All right? Now, what do we do first? We graph that 2, 1. So we're going to go over 2, up 1, and that's going to be our starting point right there. Now, my slope is -1, so I'm going to put -1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1, over 1, put a point. Down 1, over 1, put a point. I could do this a while, right? So I've got 3 points. I'm going to go through that line, and my name of my line is y minus 1 equals the opposite of x minus 2. All right, I want you to try this one. I want you to pause the video here in a second. I want you to identify the slope of this line, identify a point that it goes through, and then use those 2 pieces of information to graph the line. Then turn the video back on and see if you got it correct. All right, here's what I got. I got that my slope was 1/2. I got that the point this line goes through is -2, 2. So I graphed the point -2, 2, and then I used rise over run to find my other points. So anything you need to fix it, and then let's go to the next slide. Now, in class, they actually gave us the slope, they gave us the point, they told us to write the equation. We did that after our little discovery activity. Now they're giving us the graph. Do we know how to find slope from a graph? Of course we know how to find slope from a graph, okay? So we get 2 points, so we've actually got a choice here. Actually, we got more than 2, but they actually pointed out 2, okay? Look at this first one. What is the slope of this line? You can find the slope of this line, right? Looks like the slope of this line is -1. Is that what everybody else gets? Okay. Now, they gave you 2 points. You only have to write one equation, okay? You don't have to write both of these. But if you choose -1, 3, then you set up, let's write our point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're going to say y minus 3 equals the slope, -1, times x minus a -1. All right? So y minus 3 equals, I'm just going to write a minus. I don't have to have that 1, and x minus a -1 becomes x plus 1. Done. That's all we have to do. You can skip this little step right here if you see that minus a negative and want to go ahead and change it to a plus. Now, let's say you wanted to choose the other point. You got an option. We could choose 1, 1. You don't have to choose both. Just choose one of them. Let's plug in. Y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Y minus 1 equals m, which is -1, times x minus 1. All right, so the only way to clean this up would be to drop that 1 there, and we're done. We showed in class that these two are, if we were to put them in slope-intercept form, are the exact same thing, okay? They represent the exact same line. Now, you do this bottom one. Pick a point, find the slope, give me the equation. Either equation is correct. You don't have to have both. All right, here's what I got. If I chose, or I got the slope was -2, If I chose the point negative 2, 3, I got y minus 3 equals negative 2 times x plus 2. Notice how these signs are opposite, okay? That's a way to help you remember what's going on here. And if I chose the point 1, negative 3, I got y plus 3. Notice the opposite sign equals negative 2 times x minus 1. Notice the opposite sign. All right, if you have any questions, write them here. We will do some practice with this tomorrow.